There are 4 exercises every dog learns, but most of them never need them because they're actually something for specialists or dogs who have a job or anything like that. And there are way more important and way more useful alternatives. So we are looking at both what we don't need and what we need. And the first 2 are actually something that can be replaced by one very useful cue. And those 2 are no and leave it. I hear those every time I work with a client, really, either one or both. So every dog seems to learn no and leave it. And most of the time, these 2 things are not taught nicely. They are not taught with rewards and joy and happiness. They are taught with intimidation. And the thing you can replace it with is a look at me cue, an attention cue. So you tell your dog to look at you, like you're doing with me right now. And this is way more easy and way more useful because you can use it in a variety of situations, from dog on dog encounters, a dog who wants to chase wildlife, a dog who is insecure about people. You can use it all the time. Even if you have a multi-dog household and things get a little tense, you can resolve the situation with a look at me cue, and you're teaching your dog a leave it and to stop doing something at the same time because you're asking your dog to do something else. That's also why it's much easier to train than just a leave it. That's only frustrating because your dog doesn't know what you want. Your dog just knows that you don't want that. But what else to do, right? So you leave your dog hanging. And with a look at me, you give your dog something to do. So that's easier. Now, the third one is a down. So asking the dog to lie down. And this is most often used in situations where the dog is a little bit antsy and wants to do stuff. And we humans want the dog to be quiet, or we want a stay. So the situations I'm talking about are, for example, we have guests over and our dog is not quite sure how to interact with guests or if he likes them or not. Or for search games. So you put the dog in the down stay and then you hide something. But what I like to do instead is to either use a relaxation blanket. So some kind of cloth or towel or a blanket that is connected with relaxation, or a stay, depending on the situation. Because if your dog is just antsy or fearful or aggressive, putting him in a down doesn't resolve the situation. Connecting the situation with relaxation at least gives your dog some positive emotions. And that is way more useful in my opinion. And a stay is more practical, I think, because a lot of dogs I see don't like to lie down on every surface. Many dogs in my training don't like to lie down on a wet, grassy area or a dirty area or an area where there are a lot of stones and it's just pinchy. They don't like that. So having no alternative to a down can put your dog in a very uncomfortable situation. If you teach a stay instead and your dog can choose the position and the only thing you want is a stay, that's a lot easier for most of the dogs. And the fourth one is actually a heel. Now I'm talking about the position where your dog is stuck to your thigh and looking at you. That is a very unnatural, very uncomfortable position. The dogs cannot hold it for very long or they get really stiff and very sore. And it takes an enormous amount of concentration, so they get exhausted very fast. What I like to do instead is teach loose leash walking. Loose leash walking is pretty much the same thing, but it doesn't take all that much of concentration out of your dog, and it gives your dog the chance to still sniff, explore a little bit, and communicate with other dogs and people, be very polite to them with turning the head away, walking a little curve, stuff like that. And if you want to know how to teach your dog loose leash walking sustainably and without any form of force or corrections. Watch this.